Ludus Vulpes.
Welcome to Ludus Vulpes. My name's Kirsty.
And I'm Phil.
You join us as we run through initial thoughts and setup of Project L from Boardcubator and published by Asmodee Games.
Project L. It's
Project
got an L in the name. Or Project like corner piece, because it's like Tetris. And that's what it's all about. It's about Tetris. In this video we're going to go through our initial thoughts. We're going to go through a quick setup for you. And we'll give you a brief overview of the rules and how the game works. This is a fairly straightforward game with a hint of engine building and has some of the most beautiful components I've touched in a while. Sorry. Anyway, they are beautiful tactile pieces.
They are. Honestly, you just find yourself just picking them up.
You do.
But you'll see why. You'll see why in a few minutes.
Including the sweet corn.
Yes. And the green beans.
Yeah, sweet corn shouldn't be used for this game. It'll make the cards soggy. But still, anyway.
Anyway, moving on.
So, if you want to join us down at the table, we'll take you through the very brief setup and rule explanation for Project L. So, we're going to take the box out of the way. And we're going to put each of the Tetris pieces in a certain order. The order is defined by the reference card. Now, it needs to be very, very clear that the counter holders you're seeing are not part of the game. They have come from Geeky Meeple's 3D printing.
And if you are very lucky, you can go to either eBay or Facebook and search for Geeky Meeple's 3D printing.
In fact, we'll save you that effort and we'll put the link in the description below.
Yes, you can do that. If you put in code Ludus Vulpes 5, you'll get a discount on your order. There is no limit to how many times you can use it, so feel free to place as many orders as you wish.
To be clear, that's 5% discount.
Yes.
So, that's the token holders out of the way. Please feel free to head over to Geeky Meeple's 3D printing because their stuff is fab. We got these and we got some card holders for Christmas and like them so much we reached out and asked them if they'd like to offer you a discount as well. So there you go. So back onto Project L. Each of these pieces is distributed onto the board. We've gone in a certain order. And what happens next is we're going to have a quick look at the player boards. So in the box, you're going to get 4 player boards. There's an English side and a French side. We recommend, if you're English speaking, using the English side. That's often best. One of them here has a first player on it. So we recommend that if you're for a 2-player game, we're going to keep one out. And we are going to randomly, my eyes are closed, and distribute them so Kirsty gets the first. Damn it, I got the first player. So there you go. So the first player, each player is then going to receive a green piece
and a sweet corn.
And a sweet corn.
They're not really green beans or sweet corns. This is no affiliation with the game. This is just how I remember them.
Okay, and each of the pieces are an upgrade path that we're going to talk about in a moment. Next, we are going to take the stack of white cards.
Ooh.
Give them a good shuffle. These have already been well shuffled, so that we don't have to bore you with the details of shuffling. And we're going to have 4 face up in front of us. I wouldn't go all the way over there, I'd do it just here. So we can actually play the game.
Okay. Like so.
And then we have some black tiles as well. Now the black tiles are going to be dependent on the number of players. For a 2-player game, which is what we're playing today, we are going to be taking 12 of these tiles. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. That's going to act as our game timer. When the pile is depleted to 0, as in when the tile is replaced but there are no more tiles in the stack, that will trigger the end of the game. So 4 of those will be turned face up as well.
As you can see, these are slightly higher scoring, bearing in mind that the score is in the top left-hand corner of the tile. There's also a benefit that you receive when you complete that tile, which is shown in the right-hand corner.
So, let's talk about how the game works. At the start of the game, you start off with just 2 Tetris pieces, and they are very small Tetris pieces and will not fill a great deal of construction cards, which are these tiles you find in front of you, patterns or tiles or construction cards, whatever you want to call them. They are puzzles in the game rulebook, so be aware. Now, when you are playing the game, you have 3 actions on your turn, up to 3 actions on your turn, And one action can be to take any one of these puzzles. Now you can repeat most actions as many times as you want for your 3 actions. So I could actually just go, I'm taking these 3.
I would individually choose them actually if it was me, because they get replenished.
Yes, they do get replenished every choice. So if I take this one, this will then be replenished, etc. Same with this row, although we're probably not taking this row early on.
Yeah, good luck if you do.
Yeah, indeed. So, action number 1, take a puzzle piece. Action number 2. Action number 2 is to place a Tetris piece within a puzzle piece. So let's say I'm taking this piece, I'm going to take it and I can put a Tetris piece in.
Nice.
Then clear on my next guy, I could also put another Tetris piece in and I will have completed that puzzle. We'll come back to completing puzzles in a moment. Now, these are puzzle pieces under construction, waiting for construction pieces to complete them. Under construction puzzles, you can have up to 4 tiles, puzzles under construction.
And they are indicated at the top of your player boards.
So, action number 1, draw a tile. Action number 2, place a piece. Action number 3 is upgrade a piece, and on the right hand side of your player board you will see the upgrade path. So yellow goes to green, so yellow goes to green. The green can be upgraded to the green can be upgraded to either of these 2, and then either of these 2 can be upgraded to any of the rest. When you're upgrading a piece, you can also swap a piece as well. And then the final action is the only action that can only be done once.
You've actually missed one.
Have I?
Yeah. You may also take a grade 1 piece.
She's right.
So as a move, taking a little bit of sweet corn and putting it on your player board to be used at some point is also a move.
It is a move.
You may continue.
No, it's fine. And when those pieces have run out, instead of taking the sweet corn, you'll take the next available one up the scale. However, that's not the same if you complete a piece. The final action is the master action, which allows you, instead of putting a single piece into a single puzzle, you can put one piece into as many puzzle pieces as you have. So I could do a master move and do this. I'm placing this puzzle and in this puzzle. If I had a third and a fourth puzzle, I could place into each of those as long as I've got pieces. I can't place multiple pieces into the same puzzle. I can place one piece into multiple puzzles. You can do that once per turn. It's probably the most important move because you'll probably be doing it every turn. Now, what happens when you complete a puzzle? Well, for example, on my 2 turns, I've taken this puzzle piece, I've now placed and then placed again.
So that's all 3 moves.
All 3 moves.
Used up.
I will recover these puzzle pieces back to my player board. The puzzle itself will come and sit here. And then I will gain the reward, which in this instance is one of these puzzle pieces, and that comes back onto my player board for next turn. So importantly, on completing a puzzle, you recover all of the pieces that are in the puzzle, move the puzzle to the side, and gain the reward from the puzzle. Now, at the end of the game, which ends when this pile is empty, not this row, this pile is empty. At the end of the game, you're going to score points for each of the puzzle pieces, value of the puzzle pieces in your constructed display. The game triggers when this box is empty, and we will play around until we get back to the starting player. And then each player has the opportunity to complete any of the puzzles that are incomplete in front of them. But for every Tetris piece you're going to place, every polymer you're going to place into that puzzle, you're going to lose 1 point. So if it was this 5, for example, and I'd only got 1 piece left to place, and let's say I've got all of this complete except for this corner.
Here you go, let me give you another example. Like, so, let's put one of those in there. Let's put one of those in there. There you go.
So that's currently worth no points because it's not constructed, but if I put this in, that's going to be -1 point at the end of the game, but that's still going to score me 4 points in total. And that is basically how you play Project L. It's a really straightforward game. It's a really interesting game.
Yes, it is.
You get more powerful as you go, which is lovely. So, back to initial thoughts. Kirsty.
Okay. I love this game.
Hang on, let's caveat this. Kirsty loves any game that has Tetris pieces.
This isn't
in
true.
it.
This isn't true. So,
it is actually true.
Okay, I did first particularly have quite an addiction to Tetris style games when I first got into modern board games. I will admit that, that's fine. But this game is so beautiful. The use of colour. fantastic. The fact that obviously if you're colourblind, you can still see the difference in the shapes because they're different shapes in the nature of what they are. The simplicity of the game is beautiful.
Okay, yeah, I agree.
So this is one that I can play with new to board gaming family members. It's one that I very recently actually introduced to my parents. No offence, parents, but you know, they're not the strongest gamers, and they loved it. They enjoyed it. So what's also really important for me in a lot of games is how playable they are with certain people. So I have people who I know people who have got arthritis, so picking things up can sometimes be difficult. And I think that this is great. It's not a very flimsy piece of card.
No,
it's a nice piece of plastic. You can easily pick them up. It's such a tactile game, but it means that those blockages that are sometimes there with games that are smaller, easy to play games, that's not there in this game.
No.
And that's really important for me. Obviously it's a personal thing, but I love it. I love the engine build style of it and the way that you collect the resources. And what I mean by that, obviously, is every time you complete a puzzle, not only are you getting the piece, it's not like spending coins in a game.
No.
You get everything you put in there back within a little reward.
Yes.
And it feels really satisfying when you get rewarded each time. It's got that really completionist feel to it.
I think every action as well triggers immediately. So if you fill a template, you get the reward, and then you can use that reward on another action, and it can be really.
Yeah.
You can get to a point where you're cascading quite a few things on an individual turn, especially with the master move.
Definitely.
It's a very generous game. It gives a lot all the time.
Yeah. We haven't got the expansion yet, but I think this is a fantastic little game. It's a great filler game for me as well. I think it stands alone as a fantastic game by itself, you know, if you've got half hour before you're going to pop out for dinner or something. But it also works between much heavier games.
It can do, yeah.
And I really like that balance in the game, that it can work for both. It can be a standalone game or a filler game. It doesn't need to be supported by other things.
No.
What's your thoughts?
I think for me, it's not an engine builder in the true sense of an engine builder, but it has that feel of becoming increasingly more capable and more able, doing more at the end of the game than you were able to do at the start of the game. The generosity within the game is fantastic. You always feel like you're getting more and more. There are frustrating moments in that game when actually you just want to be able to complete, and actually there is an element of dependency on these early tiles, on the lower value tiles. If you don't have anything come out there that's easily completable, you are going to be sort of frustrating yourself. It's, you know, when you're a gamer, you'll obviously look at this and go, actually, I don't really want to be taking the yellow sweet corn piece. Got to stop calling them sweet corns. People will eat them. Don't eat them.
Don't eat them.
But taking a yellow sweet corn piece feels like a really weak action, but upgrading can be actually really powerful early on because it can cascade much more for you in the late game. So you're balancing a lot of things and a lot of thoughts. The decisions are never overburdened. They're not like, you don't end up with like going, I've got 10 things, I need to pick one. You're picking between a handful of decisions, and it's really easy. The thing I really like about this game is if you play it with non-gamers, please play it casual. Don't play hard. But if you're playing it with gamers who've played the game before, it becomes just a little bit cutthroat as you're racing through these tiles at the bottom. You're trying to get to the end of the game. You're trying to get to a point where you leave someone stuck with 4 tiles that they can't complete on the top. And it has 2 characters. One's this very gentle intro to gaming character, and one's a bit more cutthroat for experienced gamers who want to really sort of fill in half an hour and just get on with it. Now, player count's almost irrelevant to play time because you take your 3 moves, you're quick, and it moves on. Yeah. So it's a good, quick game. Experienced players will get it really quickly. Less experienced players will find it welcoming and comfortable to play. So overall, Project L, for me, is a fantastic game. It plays on a number of levels, and it's a lot of fun.
One thing I forgot to mention actually as well. So obviously, there's a lot of retro games which have obviously got Tetris pieces in and bits and pieces. And for when I recently played at my parents', my dad really had that feel of, it's like there's a slight going back in time vibe to it because the bright colours that the neon.
Yeah, very sort of bold,
Yeah.
standout colours.
Yeah, very retro in the feel of it, but yeah, extremely sleek, modern design and game. I think it works so
this
well.
box is kind of like, look at me!
It's a very
look how
sexy
sharp
box.
and clean I am!
It's a very sexy
kind
box.
of beautiful.
It's with its lovely little like gloss.
Yeah, gloss L's.
Gloss L. It's lovely. It's very, even the box is like nice to touch.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's very clean graphic design as well.
It feels nice. You can just hold the pieces and it's a relaxing experience.
Once you play this game once, you never go back to the rulebook. It's
No.
absolutely unnecessary.
And what's also really good, we've been talking recently about different styles of games and rulebooks, etc. Your player board has a player aid on it.
And basically all the rules are there.
Everything is here. You can't miss it. If you need to take a turn and you're like, oh, hang on, what was that? It's literally on the board. Yeah. It's just there. It's written there, your choices. And it also says, like, for example, when Phil said the master action can only be used once, it says that. It's not something you're having to refer to a rulebook. It's simplistic, clear. It's fantastic. I can't rave enough about this game.
Yeah, it's a great. I think it kind of has that same sort of level of complexity filler game that Nova Luna had in that kind of vibe.
Yeah.
It's not always. It can be played at 2 levels and is really great for that. It comes with a high recommendation. Like, I don't think for any reason we wouldn't happily play this game again and again. In fact, have played this game again and again. I'm looking forward to what the expansion, seeing what the expansion brings for it as well.
Yeah.
But overall, absolutely fantastic game. Don't come at it expecting a really heavy game. That's not the game, but it can be enough cutthroat to keep an avid gamer occupied for half an hour. And I think at half an hour it will not outstay its welcome.
And also, just a quick tip if you've never played before. Phil went for the heavier ones, which take longer to fill in. I went for the lighter ones, and we got exactly the same score.
We did.
So actually, it's quite interesting to see because.
However, the tiebreaker is who's completed more puzzles, and by Kirsty going for the smaller ones, it was always going to be Kirsty. Anyway, moving on. So, thank you for your time today.
Yes.
If you have enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. We really appreciate any feedback and comments you leave below as well.
What are your experiences of the game? Let us know below. We will be doing a playthrough shortly, so that will follow. We're also on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Just search for Ludus Vulpes.
Thanks everyone.
Thanks for your time today. See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.